Hey, and welcome back. We're gonna go ahead and today we're gonna break
just
down
how
this deck that I've been
plays.
using so I can show you what it does. And you may understand a little bit
Hopefully we'll
more
get a
about
match in here
my
pretty
method of
fast. And it
building
doesn't
decks
glitch
and
out.
my
We've just
method
been
of
doing that a
playing this
lot lately.
specific deck. Uh,
So,
so first off, we have 4 incubation druids because, as you can see, they tap for 1 mana of any mana type that land I control can produce. But if it has a 1/1 counter on it, instead I get to add 3 mana of that type instead. And of course, if I pay 3 and 2 green, so for 5, I can adapt it for 3, placing 3 more 1/1 counters on this creature. I can only adapt if it has no 1/1 counters on it, but that'll allow it to tap for 3 of any mana that I can produce. Then we have our Paradise Druid. This is also 1 green. It has hexproof as long as it's untapped. I can tap it to add 1 of any color. Very important. So if I only get my greens, I can always make up a blue with my Paradise Druid. As you see, I have no turn 1 drops. Turn 1 drops are not nearly as important with this deck because we use our life as a resource. As long as we have 1 health, we are in it. Then we have our Loaming Shaman. 2 and a green, but when Loaming Shaman enters the battlefield, target player shuffles any number of target cards from their graveyard to their library, which is great for replenishing our hand after we draw 1,000 cards, which is what this deck is wanting to do. We have 3 copies of Gyre Engineer. That's 1, a green, and a blue. But it can tap to add a green and a blue to our mana pool. And one of the best cards in the deck, in my opinion, Leyline of Abundance. Costs 2 and 2 green, but if it's in our opening hand, we can just put it onto the battlefield. Skip its entire cost. And whenever I tap a creature for a mana, we'll add an additional green. For 6 and 2 green, for 8, we can put a 1/1 counter on each creature we control. Now that sounds like a really high cost, but if we start with this out on the field, by turn 4 we can activate this usually. Now, Nyx Lotus is awesome. It's legendary, so we can't put it down multiple times, but on the second turn, after if we get to untap with it, then we get to add an amount of mana to our mana pool equal to our devotion to that color, which is great with this deck because we have so many extra pips of color. We have 3 Nisses who shake the world. She's awesome because whenever you tap a forest for mana, it produces an additional green. Her take-up ability allows us to untap a land, put 3 1/1 counters on it, and it becomes a 0/0 elemental creature with vigilance and haste that's still a land. We can only do this if it's not already a creature. But I digress. Once we get it up to 8, we can get it an emblem with lands we control have indestructible, and then we can search our land for all of our forest cards and put them onto the battlefield tapped. So when we untap, we'll have more land than we know what to do with, which pairs very well with the creme de la creme for this deck, Nyxbloom Ancient, 4 and 3 green. So pretty pricey, but again, as you've seen with this deck, it's all about cheating out mana ramp, mana dorks, getting mana out. When Nyxbloom Ancient is on the battlefield, our 5/5 trample haste here will allow us that anytime we tap a permanent for mana, it produces 3 times as much of that mana instead, which is insane. And if you see very closely, that's an enchantment creature, not a legendary, so we can actually put all 4 down, allowing us to get 12 times the mana. So a single forest would produce 12 forests, just with this on the field. Well, with all 4 of them. We have 1 copy of Planewide Celebration, 5 and 2 green. We can choose form, we can choose the same mode more than once. We can create a 2/2 creature citizen token that's all colors. We can return a target permanent card from our graveyard to our hand. We can proliferate, and we can gain 4 life. This is very handy, especially if you drop Nissa and this in the same turn. You can proliferate her to 10, or to 9, and drop her ultimate ability and keep her alive. And the second she hits the field, you get all your lands and they're all indestructible. Another one of my favorite cards, Stonecoil Serpent. It just costs X, and in this deck, that's deadly. It has Reach and Trample, protection from multicolor, but it enters with X 1/1 counters on it. So, on turn 5, when we're making 100 and some odd mana, we can put some very arbitrary large creature down that's just going to sweep. 4 Hydra Crises. our only other mythic besides Nyx Bloom. When we cast a spell, so when we cast it, it's not an ETB. So second it's cast, we gain half X life and draw half X cards, rounded down each time. It's a flying trample, costs X green and a blue, and it enters the battlefield with X1/1 counters on it. So what this means is, so if we pay 10 for X, then we're going to gain 5 life, draw 5 cards, and have a 10/10 flying trample on the battlefield. That's amazing. Then we have Gadwick the Wizened. 3 blue and X. And when he enters the battlefield, you draw X cards. Whenever you cast a blue spell, you tap target non-land permanent an opponent controls. This is great as well because even if you're playing another Gadwick, yeah, you'll get rid of one, but you still get to tap down your opponent and draw more cards. And Mass Manipulation. We have 2 copies of Mass Manipulation. It is a game winner. It really is. It changes everything. Almost every time I play it, I win the game. 4 blue mana and X twice. Gain control of X target creatures and or planeswalkers. So we're able to just take our opponent's board. No matter what. If we're on the losing state, as soon as we get enough mana, take the entire opponent's board. We follow that up with our lands. 9 islands, 12 forests, and 3 breeding pools. Just in case we really need that extra color, we have a high chance to draw it. Alright, so that's the deck, and that's how I have built it. The whole point of this deck is to build as much mana as we possibly can, get out our Nyx Bloom Ancients and our Nissas, drop our giant Hydroid Crasises or our Stonecoil Serpent, or mass manipulate our way to victory. Of course, if all of those fail, if we can ultimate Nissa and create a bunch of Vigilance tokens with her, we can go up here with our insane amount of mana and keep putting 1/1 counters on all of our creatures and build them up to the point where we can just run over our opponents regardless. I hope you liked the video, and next time I see you, we'll be showing you how this deck works. There we go. Alright. Wow. It's an amazing opening hand. It's a sketchy opening hand. Won't have a play till turn 3, but maybe we'll draw into one. We're going to keep it. We have no turn 1 plays anyway, so can't risk it. You can't get the biscuit unless you risk it, right? Play with that little fluffy owl. And let's make him platinum for this fight. Alright, well, our opponent mulligan. So I guess at least technically we have somewhat card advantage. And he must have fire because he's taking a long time to figure out which one to put back. Maybe he'll mulligan again. Let's greet our opponent with a good hello so they know we're here and waiting. Alright, let's open with that. Apparently he had a play. We'll drop a forest too, and no, we will not be paying for Hydroid Crisis. It would die the second it entered the field. I think that's a little silly. Maybe he's got a Spark in his hand. He wants to do 2 damage to us. Maybe he doesn't realize it's his turn. Cast again. Well, if this is a burn, he wants to destroy my card. There's his chance to do it. Play our Gyre Engineer now. Odd that we went 3 turns without getting hit, but hey, I'll take it. Okay, so he did have a shot. He was just waiting to destroy a creature. That's alright. We'll play some other Incubation Druid. And we won't be playing Hydra Crisis for 1. Even if he destroys our Incubation Druid, it's okay. So an Augur pulls and just top the catch it. These just get money and put into your hand. Press on the bottom of your library in any order. Huh. Neat. Let's go ahead and play our Nissa now.
Together we will prevail.
Turn on the field. And go ahead and untap our forest. And we're going to use that forest to play another incubation. No such thing as too much mana. You go watch Game Nights or the Command Zone podcast. Jimmy Wong will tell you the same thing. So, if you enjoy this, you will most definitely enjoy Game Nights. You should go check them out. I want to play Breeding Pool, and we'll pay the 2 life, why not? Let's play our next Bloom. We will uptick Nissa again. We'll untap our forest.
The land fights for us.
And we're going to adapt our Incubation Druid. Then we will adapt our other Incubation Druid. Because why not? Now they'll each tap for 9 mana apiece because of our Nyx Bloom Ancient. Now instead of tapping for 3, they'll tap for 9, which is amazing. The mana ramp is insane. Even if you get rid of Nyx Bloom, they're still worth 3 apiece. So we're going to what? Turn 5, turn 6 with 18, 19, 20, 21, 24, 27. Awesome amount of mana, obviously. Let's go ahead and play our Hydra Crisis. And let's pay 20. We get 9 green, we'll get 9 blue. We only need 4 more, so we're going to tap 2 more blue. I'm going to resolve that. We're going to gain 10 life. And then we're going to drop our 2020 shrimp. Again, this is why I love playing this deck. It builds so fast. So we're going to play our Planewise Celebration. We're going to proliferate 4 times. Now our 2020 is 24-24, and we're going to sack our Nissa and get every single forest we control, or we own. They'll enter tapped, but we have now more mana than we know what to do with a 7/7 indestructible vigilance beast creature. I would think it almost impossible for us to lose, but our opponents are playing blue-red, so you never know. He could have a board wipe waiting to return my entire board to ash. But if nothing happens, I think we win. If he can't stop us, we win. We have 24 flying in the air. Unless he plays a flyer, bounces Hydro, Graces. And we do play a flyer, but ours is trample. So he needs to be able to gain enough life to survive that, and obviously he couldn't. Well, there it is, fam. We did it. Finally. Only a 9.5 minute slog, but we claim our prize, and we are victorious. If you want to see me play with any other decks, feel free to leave a suggestion down in the comments and let me know any specific card you want a deck built around, or a mechanic, or a tribe you wanted to play, but would like to see it created or piloted. Let me know, and I'll definitely try to build something to make you smile.